All right, guys, I want to show you this one real quick. I hardly ever go in any of my local stores. I work a lot and I don't really care to go shopping. And unfortunately for me, in my local brick and mortars, but I ran into town today and with my wife and went to Sam's Club. And of course, I haven't been in there in a long time, so I'm looking around and checking everything out. And they had this Gulfman in the case. And I had already had the Gulfman on my mind because my good friend Robert on the IWA group just purchased one. So, and he said it was awesome. So I instantly locked onto this one out of all the watches and checked it out. And it only had a price tag of $140 on it, which I think is great for a multi-band with the tough solar. And then you can tell it's nice and light. It has titanium case back, and then it has some titanium on the front here too. It just, it's one of those ones that just spoke to me. Plus, with the knowledge that my good friend Robert said it was a nice watch too. So I think this buckle's stainless steel. That's not titanium, but so I went ahead and swooped it up, and I'm bringing it back here to show you guys. But it has all your standard features as the multi-band and the tough solar typically do. You have your battery indicator and all that. It has the 3217 module. This is the GW9110. And then I think if you look on the box, it also says it's a -1WC. You can see that there in the model number. This is the box it comes in, which is a little bit different than your standard affair with G-Shocks. So I don't know if that's just special packaging for the box stores or what, but I thought it was pretty cool. It has the tide and the moon and has a seconds counter there. You have different modes through here. You got the tide function. You have your UTC world time, which you can change that to different areas. You have your alarm functions, and there's multiple alarms. You have your stopwatch, your timer, and then back to your date, and which is nice that this has everything on display. Some modules don't. So you have your actual day, Saturday, and then it's 9:16, and then you have your PM, and then your time, minute, and seconds. And then it also has the seconds counter there, that little window. So pretty cool module, I think, compared to some other modules. The squares are great, but they don't, when you get into some of these more complicated ones, they have just more things going on. So it's more visually appealing, I think, And then you have some red accents in there. And then you also have, some yellow printing and some white printing. So pretty good mix of colors here, I think. Very light on the wrist. Surprisingly, because I think you could compare it to the older Mudman, these both weigh 57 grams. But when you have them both in your hand, the Gulfman feels lighter. I don't know why, but they both weigh 57 grams. The buttons on the Gulfman are way easier to push. The Mudman, I mean, everybody that's ever tried one or owns one, they know the Mudman buttons are super hard to push. You got to really push on them. You can see them pushing on it. So great watch though. And the solar one of this, I almost bought the solar version of this one too, but I don't really care for the display on the solar one. I like the double layer like this. So big thanks to my friend Robert for telling me about the Gulfman. I really had never looked at this one, so it was really cool that he had already mentioned it. So I already kind of knew to keep my head up and my eyes open for a good deal on a Gulfman, and then randomly to run across one at the local Sam's Club here. I thought that was pretty cool. So real quick measurements. I measured earlier from here to here. You're at 43.8 millimeter, which is really maybe just a touch wider than some of the squares. And then from, if you want to do lug to lug from here to here, that's at 49 millimeter. And then the thickness from, not the highest part, but from this titanium part to the bottom, you're looking at about 14.5 millimeter. So very good size. I'll throw it on my wrist and give you a quick look at that. There it is on my 7 1/8 inch wrist. You can see it has the double prongs there. It also has on the keeper here, you can see at the end here, it has a little bit of a raised area that holds that keeper from sliding around. See what I mean there, that part? See, it has a little bit of a lip there. That stops that keeper from sliding off it. Tell you what, let's take a look at the illumination on it, which I suspect is good. Oh yeah, plenty legible. Very nice. So I think a great watch at a great price. Going to be hard to beat. Multi-band 6 with tough solar and everything all displayed on one screen at once. Pretty dang good watch, I think. If you're going to own one G-Shock, this could be the one. I know the squares, you can obviously see the squares are what I'm drawn to. But this is a really good option too if you guys, aren't into the squares as much as I am and you still want a G-Shock in your collection. I think it'd be hard to beat this particular one. It displays everything you need, and it's easy push buttons to run through the functions, easy to use, good illumination, and then it's accurate timekeeping. So let me know what you guys think. Which G-Shock do you guys have in your collection?